Start this recording. All right, let's begin. So today's going to be an overview of what's new in QDM version 8.1, presented by Tagu Vivek, our QDM product manager. Couple quick notes. Please use the chat interface and the question panel in particular to send in any questions you have. Please send them in as they come up. Don't wait till the very end to send in your questions, as I have Oliver Gladius, our QDM application engineer, on hand here to help answer questions or set them aside for the Q&A that we have at the end. If possible, use your computer speakers to listen in, as you'll get the best audio that way. A recording of today's session will be sent out tomorrow with some additional content links, and there is a short survey at the end. Please take a moment to fill that out so we can get some comments and feedback from you. Take a moment to make sure good. You can also find all of our previous sessions online under Technical Support, DCS Webinars on Demand. You can find that under the Videos tab of our website. I will include a link, and you also get links in that email tomorrow to all of the previous sessions that we've done this year. What's nice is on the website, you can find all of our previous webinars from last year and from years prior. Upcoming webinars we have in this series. We have another webinar this week in 2 days, and that webinar will be at 11 a.m. our normal time, and that will be our next version 7.7 3DCS webinar, going over some of the new features, including the GD&T measurements, some new pattern move, and X-plane floating. And then we have our last version 7.7, our new release webinar series, happening in May. As I mentioned before, our presenter today will be Tagu Vivek, the QDM product manager here at DCS, Dimensional Control Systems. And Tagu manages the QDM development team and all of the QDM tasks here at DCS. Today's agenda, I'm obviously not going to read all of these off to you, but we have quite a few different features we're going to be going through quickly today to show you how to use each one, and we'll be providing short video how-tos afterwards in order for you to do these yourself and test them out. Those of you who'd like to start using version 8.1, as a reminder, you do need a new license in order to run 8.1. It is a major version update. All major version updates for DCS software require a license update. Now that is free for all maintained clients and customers, for all maintained software. You can send a licensing request to Marco, our IT here at DCS. And if you have any question about installation and use, Oliver will be on hand to assist. Those emails addresses will be in the follow-up email tomorrow as a reminder for you to quickly access. You can also reach out directly to me, and I will connect you with the right people here at DCS to get you set up for the new version. Those of you who do not have access to QDM right now, we are offering a free trial during this lockdown period. If you'd like to try working on SPC reports, templates, quality reports, and working with inspection and measurement data. You can respond directly to this email or to the email tomorrow with a recorded session. You can also use the link to the start page. And that link is in the PDF that is in your handouts section of your interface. That PDF there has all of these links and email addresses for your easy access. If you're looking on some how-to guides and videos, the QDM team has been busy in updating the DCS community with more QDM-based videos, articles, and helpful guides. All of the new feature guides will also be added over the next week to the DCS community. And that is a free tool, the DCS community, to all DCS clients. So please go there and register, and we'll get you in and working right away. All right, at this time, I'm going to be passing the presentation over to Tagu. All right, Tagu, I can see your screen. Looks like you're still muted. There we go.
Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Today's session, my name is Tagu Vivek, and I'm going to go over the enhancements that we have put into QDM version 8.1, which is recently released. And all these enhancements are based on customer feedback and different requests that came in from customers based on the industry. And I'm only going to go through all the major enhancements. There are a lot of enhancements within this version that makes the template creation and the reporting and SPC analysis takes it to a different new level from the older versions. I'm primarily focusing on 16 topics today, which are key enhancements that are from the user's perspective. So first, let's jump right into it. The first topic in this is assign classification using batch mode. With this version, we have the ability to assign classifications to features. So each feature can belong to different classifications, may be KPC points or different zones within the part, zone 1, zone 2, or right side, the top, the window. In this example that you see there, we could create something called a rear door, the front door points, and all the points around the window. We could create 3 classifications. Then we'll get to the benefits of what are the benefits of having classifications. The ability to batch assign or select a bunch of features and assign classifications is the first enhancement that we're going to go through. So I'm going to I'm going to follow the process of showing the slide, going to the software and showing how it's done, and coming back to the slide. So I'm going to jump into the software, launch the software, the QDM Analyst version 8.1, and let's start with, this is the first time we're opening. I'll start with how to create like a quick template, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to start, and let's say we open a start model, which is basically a template with a blank template with all the settings and the banner. Step 1, I'm going to import the CAD data. Step 2, I'm going to import the measurement data. Auto scale and auto window. That basically brings all the data and lays them right on the 3D CAD part. It's kind of a blob of charts right now because we haven't done any type of layout or anything. So at this time, all we have is 2 pages. One is what we call an index page, which is basically a graphical table of contents of which page numbers, where you have the data for each one of these points, and the graph page, which is basically all my charts. This is not laid out yet. So this is what we call a base template, or just the data loaded into the CAD and the inspection data loaded into the system. So to assign classification, I'm going to kind of rotate this part. It's a 3D view, so I'm going to rotate the part a little bit so that I can get like a front view of how I can get different zones. I am going to use my edit chart page window. I'm going to section this into 3 zones, the front, the rear, and all the points around the window. So initially, when I do show all charts, I do see there's a column for classification, and all my classifications currently belong to a general classification. If you look at the last but one column here, all my classification for my points belong to one classification general. So I'm going to clear this chart list. I'm going to add from graphics. I'm going to pick all my points around the front of the door, and so that picks all these points. I'm going to close this. That puts them on the list. I'm going to go to advanced. There is a button now for classification, and I can assign a new classification. I'm going to call this classification the front. apply. So now I have assigned all these points, and now the classification for all these points say front, and this could be KPC or any other type of classification that you would need. I'm going to do the same thing quickly for the other two sections. I'm going to clear the chart list, add from graphics. I'm going to do a window around all my points on the back of the part or the rear of the door, and I'm going to assign a classification called rear. Going to do the same for charts, clear my chart list, add from graphics, do a window around all my points on the top, and create a classification for my points around the window and call that window. So now when I go to charts and add all shown charts, I see a set of points which belong to the window classification. If I just scroll down, I see a set of points that belong to the front classification and a set of points that belong to the rear classification. So it's very easy to assign classification to each one of those points, and the classification. So for example, let me just separate out one chart so that we can see this particular chart belongs to the window classification. So it's very easy to create classifications and highlight them here. There is also an option for, right now it's showing the 3 classifications that's created. There's a classification manager under Edit called feature classification, where the window, let's say I want to highlight all my features that belong to the window. I can assign a color to that so that it's very easily you can pick out the charts that belong to that particular classification, and I could OK that. And all my charts which belong to the window classification now will be highlighted with that color. So it's kind of easy when the chart is fully laid out and the template's completed. It's very easy to pick out the points, but still we haven't created the complete template yet. All we have done is just assign classification using batch mode. So I'm gonna stop here and jump back to the PowerPoint. So this topic, and we'll get to the next steps, but this topic is about what are the tools that are available to create batch-based classification. So I'm going to go to the next topic. So now, once you have a classification assigned, we could also sort them based on the classification and arrange our pages. Instead of going from left to right or right top to bottom or based on any nominal value, we can first take all my points on the front of the door and assign them to and create n number of pages. Then go to zone number 2, which is the rear of the door, and create n number of pages based on how many other charts it can fit on, and then do the same for the window. So this would allow you to keep your charts that belong to a certain zone or certain classification all together in your template. If you have a 100-page template, the points are not scattered all over. They are all kept in concatenated graph pages, so that anything that belongs to the rear is the first 10 pages, the next 10 pages the front, and then the last 10 pages is the points in the window. So to be able, once you have classified the points, we can group them and keep them together and lay out. There is a wizard that we have added to make this happen by just one button click, and that's this topic of classification-based sorting. So I'm going to go back to the software. We've just done this part of creating the classification, and all my points are on page 1. We have 3 classifications. Now I'm going to go to my sort data, going to tell there are 10 charts per page. I'm going to use this sort data by classification wizard. This is the method I'm going to use for sorting. And I would also like to create an index page for each classification. Now I would like to create a separate index page for my front points, a separate index page for my rear points, and a separate index page for my window points. I could keep all of them in the same index page, or if I choose this checkbox, you would automatically create those 3 index pages. Not only sort the data, but also create the index pages. So with this setting, it's going to take, it's going to put 10 charts per page based on the chart size. It automatically came up with this number that it can put 10 charts. So 10 charts per page, it's going to, but keep them in groups of front, rear, and window points. So I'm going to do this. At this stage, what it had done is it has took the points and distributed them into multiple pages. Each page has got about 10 charts, still not fully laid out, but at least it grouped and sorted them. This is the activity of distributing the charts to different pages and creating new pages. So right now at this time, it has created 30 pages. The first 10 for window, and then they got some rear points and then some window points. So now what we're going to do is ergonomically place them so I can complete my report. That's my last step. So I'm going to go to Ergoplace, where I could ergonomically place all my charts around the graph and create a nice layout and let the system automatically take care of it. So I'm going to leave the charts on both sides, auto size my viewport, auto scale my viewport, and do this for all pages. At this step, it's going to walk through each one of the pages, clean up the pages, move the CAD to the center, the charts around, and create a completed report. So it completed the report now. It took all my points and sorted them to, so these are my points in the front. If you look in the top, in the middle of the banner, it says that's the front, all my points that belong to the front. Now we're going to go to the pages that contain the points on the rear. And then once those 10 pages of the rear, and then now we are going to go into the window. And if you look at it, we colored the window points, so they're showing up in a cyan color. So so this way we have created a completed report based on classification just by those 6 steps. And we have created an index page for all my front points, an index page for all my rear points, and a separate index page for all my window points, and then followed by a number of graph pages. So this is the enhancement to not only create classifications, but use that classifications to sort and create your report. And each page, of course, as you know, you could go and do different things. If I want to zoom in the window, I mean, it's all 3D. So every page you can enhance the layout. It's point and click, drag and drop, and you can set up your own pages. But the ability to automatically create these templates and get a decent report out with just automated button clicks is what this enhancement is about. So I'm going to jump back to the PowerPoint again. So we looked at how we can use the sort data by classification wizard and create a template based on classified points. Now we're going to go to the next topic, Ergoplace all sides. In the older versions, we had only the option to Ergoplace on both sides, right and left, with putting the CAD in the middle. Now with this new enhancement, we have an ability to Ergoplace all sides, which would ergonomically keep the CAD in the middle and ergonomically place all my charts around and make sure the leader lines don't cross and create a clean report with one. This allows you to crunch the number of pages. Sometimes your pages are 100, 150 pages templates. By allowing it to do all sides ergo placing, you could put up to 16 charts with a decent size, still readable on a page with charts and trend and everything. If you go to a measurement name or something even more lighter, you can put up to 30 charts per page. But even with trend chart and with the data, you could go up to 16 charts and very cleanly lay out. That'll reduce the number of pages and the report size for you for larger parts. So I'm going to jump to the software and go through that action. So I'm going to, so this one I ergo placed it on both sides. So I'm going to close this session. I will start with maybe start model with data. So it's primarily just before we sorted. So I have just 2 pages, an index page and just the data has been loaded. I am going to use my sort data option to, so now I'm going to put 16 charts per page. And now I'm going to go, so now it created n number of pages. So now we had 30 pages before when we were having 10 charts per page. Now that I can put 16 charts per page, the number of pages got down to 17. So I was able to cut down 15 pages from my report by using this method. So I'm going to go to Ergoplace. Now it just created the charts and distributed them, but it hasn't done the layout, and that's what's done using the Ergoplace option. I'm going to auto size and auto scale, so it'll bring the CAD to the middle. And then I'm going to use the all sides option and also click on all pages so it can run through all the pages. You could also do Ergoplace just on a page by page basis. So I'm going to use this option to run through it. You'd see the screen flicker because it's kind of going to walk through the pages and lay out all of them. But when it's complete, it would have laid out all the pages for the entire report. Okay, so that completes the report. So now you can see that the charts are all laid out with 16 charts get you 6 more charts per page and nicely laid out. Still, of course, any type of edits that you want to do with this is possible, but that's how quickly you can create a base report from the system. I'm going to jump to the next topic here. Import data with classification. So we talked about classification and how we could use that to kind of group your features or charts and keep them together, or use them to highlight different charts based on this classification. We also have a method now from our standard file, the DCSDB2 file. We have a row called classification, where whatever classifications you specify there, as a part of loading the data, we can automatically assign classification. We looked at, after we load the data, how you can use the batch mode to kind of do windows around different sections and assign classifications. But if you have a better method of doing this upfront in your design process of assigning classification, you can bring that as a part of the nominal, and as a part of loading the data, the system can automatically create these classifications. So I'm going to go back to my chart. Maybe I'll close this session because we'll start a fresh one. So we're doing import data with classification. So I'm going to open maybe just a start model. Just a blank template. I'm going to import the HSF file or the data file. When I go to import my data, I'm going to use this method called import data with classification. Instead of using the import data, which would just import the data for all the regular data loads, there is a new option now called import data with classification. And here I'm going to pick a file where we already have classification assigned. So I'm going to use that file, and now I'm going to do auto scale and auto window. So I have, if you look at it, those zone names that we had on the file, now it automatically got into the template. So ability to use an Excel-based managing of the classification, and when you load the data, it automatically pulls in the data. Then of course you do the next 2 steps of sort data by classification, create an index page, and maybe I'll put 16 charts per page, okay, and do an Ergoplace all sides let the system kind of walk through and create my report. So those 3 steps that I did can be automated. If you had an Excel file which already contains the classification, now I have the mid classification features. I have a set of points, charts for the zone 2 charts pages, the zone 3, and for the mid section. So just to, so this allows you to kind of manage your classifications easily because you could use an Excel-based setup. So I'm going to go here to 35, show you the door sign data with classification. Let me open this file in Excel. So just to show you, this is the row that contains the classification for each feature. So for each feature that X belong to zone 2, this one belongs to zone 2. And as I kind of scroll to it, and these are all the points that belongs to the midsection. It's Excel, so you could use your method to manually edit all of these and re-import the data, so you could revise your classifications if you don't want to manage them inside the software using the interface that we have. It kind of allows you to edit it externally and load them in and update your whole template very easily. Okay. So I'm going to go back, close this template, go back to my PowerPoint. So that is the importing data with classification. Go to the next topic. Gage R&R. This is another topic that is been very frequently asked and used from the QDM side, is the ability to create a Gage R&R report from within QDM. So I'm going to load a data. Let me open start with blank template, blank Gage and R&R template. So a Gage R&R template is nothing but it's the same template. The only type is the report. The charts are changed to what we call a Gage R&R chart. So instead of having a composite chart or a trend chart, there is a chart type called Gage R&R, and you're basically using that Gage R&R chart type, or convert your charts into Gage R&R chart type. When you're using this type of chart and you've created a report, so we've created a template with the Gage R&R, but there's no data in it, has not been specified, so everything is NA right now. I am going to apply Gage R&R. We have loaded the data with the 30 samples, but when I go to Gage R&R, it gives me a Gage R&R interface where you can assign what is the trial 1, trial 2, trial 3 data based on operator A, B, and C, and for different parts. So this interface, let's kind of, just in the interest of time, I'm going to make the smallest variation. So let's say there are 3 parts, 2 operators, and 2 trials. And I've loaded my data. So I'm going to assign what will be my trial 1's data for operator 1. So these are the 30 samples that I've loaded into the system. I'm going to assign part 1 as trial 1 operator 1, part 2 as trial 1 operator, trial 2 operator A, part 3 as trial 1 operator, trial 1 part 3 for operator A. Similarly for trial 2, I'm going to use the 4, 5, and 6, because you could, your file names could be totally different and random. Once you load in the data, this interface allows you, gives you a universal interface to assign what you want to assign for these grid of matrix of data. So here I'm going to go with 7, 7, 8, and 9. 10, 11, and 12. And keep going and fill the whole grid. But right now, this is all I need minimum to create the the Gage R&R, and you could reassign the samples, or you can change what type of study you want. All those interfaces are done here where you set the thing, and I could okay that. Once I okay, now if you look at it, all my charts have populated with the data. And it also tells me pass fail for each one. I'm going to kind of go to one of them and then just make it full screen. So you can see the results of a Gage R&R for a certain feature. So we have the repeatability, reproducibility, part variation, range analysis, and Gage R&R calculated for each feature based on that matrix that we put together, matrix of parts and samples that were loaded. So now I have a Gage R&R graphical report, and I can also export that to a custom export to a Gage R&R Excel file. So that can be used for any downstream Gage R&R type of reporting. But gives you a quick way to manage your Gage R&Rs. If you want to reassign your samples, go back to Gage R&R. Maybe I don't want to use part 6. I'd like it because there's a problem. I'd like to use part 7, remeasure it, whatever the things are, reassign samples. So it gives you an interface to manage your data, to create your Gage R&R report, graphical Gage R&R report for each feature with all the calculations. And of course, you can show and hide different things so that if you only want to show Gage R&R, don't want to show reproducibility and repeatability. If you're only doing one trial, then you would choose only those sections of it. So it's a configurable tool for that. But the ability to be able to assign different samples is what this particular topic of Gage R&R enhancement is. I'm going to close this. Go to the PowerPoint again. So go to the next topic. Update nominals. It's not a very frequent usage, but it gives you a little bit of freedom when you want to use CAD data and want to move the nominal position. There was a nominal change. I'm going to show this, not take too much time, because it helps for some customers who are. So let me open any template, for example, any template. Pick this one. If there is a point, so let's take any point right here. This particular chart. Let me pick something that is I can zoom into. Home. Window. So just to show that one point right there. If the point, if there is a nominal change, now we have an ability to attach to a point. You go to Home, Edit Chart Page, Advanced. If I want to change the nominal position for something like this, so first I choose the chart, select Clear Chart List, Add from Graphics, these charts right here, close, and I can go to Advanced, Nominal Position from Graph. I can, maybe the nominal was moved, they were not able to measure it there, they were only be able to measure it here, and I want to update my template based on the measurement location. I can click that, and I can apply. So now all my points and the leader lines are moved to a new location based on the CAD. So sometimes the CMM room is not able to measure things based on your nominal template because there was a clamp there was a weld or something like that in that location, and you have to move your nominal position in your template. This interface gives you an interactive way to move your nominal to a new location and update your template. So now I'm going to go to auto scale. So now it gets back to the point, but it's pointing to the new location of measurement. So this allows you to edit the nominal position, not the nominal value, but the nominal position of where the leader lines end up based on the changes in your measurement routine without re-uploading a new nominal or changing the whole or creating a new template. So that's the update nominal interface. We're going to go to the, let me close this session, or I'll leave that and go to the next topic. Linking documents to a report. Now there is an ability that you might have some Gage certifications or any type of data documents that you need to link to the system, or some summary, Excel summary. So when you send the report out to somebody, they also have the ability to open that document with it, or get to the network location and open that document. So there is a link to a document in your network that you could link in Excel, PowerPoint, Word, or any type of email or PDF, HTML, TIFF files, or text files to a template, and keep that embedded with the system. So the interface to do that would be, let me click on Tools, Link Documents, and I'm going to add a linked document in Excel, add an Excel document. I'm going to go back to, let's say I want to, I can type in the author name. You can edit all that stuff. Document name is the summary, whatever we want to call it, description, and type in, and then I can go to the path to, let's say, 46. So let's say I want an inspection lab report of an Excel file. It could be, a lot of times it's certifications, because there is, when you submit a report, you also have to say the humidity, the temperature, and all those measurement parameters, or maybe a Gage R&R report or something along with it. So there's just an example to be able to load any type of document and attach it to that, and okay that. So that way, when anybody wants to go, when they open up the template, or when they have the template in the other, this document is attached to it. You could review it by clicking on it, and it would open that report and show it. So now this is a PPAP report for this that was attached along with the document, but it could be any type of document, like I mentioned. Okay, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. That's the topic number 9 about linked documents. Move on to the next one, QDM Configurable Banner. With the new option, we have, with the new version, we have an ability to create a banner on top of each page and assign and it contains 3 sections, banner 1, banner 2, and banner 3. Those 3 sections, and you can put a text and an image, a text and an image, or a text and an image, or you can add some of these macros which would allow you to get the corresponding value and populate that particular section of the banner. So let's go to the software to see that. So I'm going to close this session and open maybe like a blank template for this. So this particular blank template, what we go to edit header footer, that contains a section called banner, and you can switch the banner on or off if you don't want to use that real estate up and want to keep that clean. But if you would like to have that banner on, you check this box. There is a text that you can type for the banner 1. You can change the font for the banner. Maybe this time I'll just make it a little bigger. And I can also add any graphics, like a logo of your company, or the logo of this particular part, or for this program, whatever it is. Like here, I have the QDM logo attached to it. For banner 2, I'm putting a macro name called page name. So it would automatically find whatever the name of that particular page is. And if we're doing classifications, that could be the name of the classification. Whatever the current page name is, so if it's a percentage, page name percentage, it would use that as a macro. And the list of macros are available in the bottom. You can have the date, the page, the total page name, page number, report name, and page name. So all these different options are available. So for banner 2, we're putting the page name, and I'm not adding any image. And for banner 3, we're putting the date, so it gets the today's date and put that information. There's also a height adjustment that you can do. So allows you to create a banner, and this banner is on all pages, and you could either choose to have it or take that off or add logos to it. So this is the ability to create banner. I'm going to go to the next topic here. Merge only X, Y, and Z charts. This is sometimes you want to keep your X, Y, Z charts in one method, and keep your other chart types like the T, the diameter, all those in a full trend with statistics. XYZ is only used for reference, just to show what the trend of the XYZ is, or just how those points, the components of the points are varying. And the SPC is only done on the true position or the T values or anything like that. So in that particular case, instead of merging, if I do merge by nominal position, it's going to anything that belongs to the same nominal will get located into one big chart. So your X, Y, Z and your T value all gets grouped into one chart type, and you can only use one chart type to represent all of them. With this method of merging X, Y, Z charts to a separate chart type for that same feature, you can assign that to a different chart type, maybe a lean chart for that, just to show relevant information for X, Y, and Z. But your quality engineers can focus on the T values, or on the profiles, and on the deviations, or all on the GD and T points. Allows you to separate your GD and T from the X, Y, Z and create a XYZ. And if you want to hide those ones, it's very easy now, because now you can just hide those XYZ charts because they are grouped together. You can make them point boxes and not show up on the report. So this new option of merge by XYZ allows you to do that. I'm going to take maybe a sample template. Let me take the base layout. So ability to go to tools, merge data, just choosing merge XYZ charts only. So now it's gonna group all the points that belong to an XYZ into a chart, and now I can assign all these XYZ chart to a different format. So it's very easy for me to now go to edit chart page, search and add all the points that are merged. Typically, the way to find the merged ones are by doing a *_x*. So I would find all my points that belong to a certain X, Y, and Z, and I can quickly change that chart type to just in this particular case, I'm going to make them a measurement name chart, just to make it a lighter version of it. So all my XYZ is merged, and I only see the charts for my XY for my T values. This is one flavor of it, but the other flavor of it is as shown in the PowerPoint, that you can group these XYZ charts and assign them to a different chart type of whatever you're choosing, however light or heavy you want to keep the XYZ points. You could have them with trend charts, or you can have them just as a measurement name chart, just to show the information. Okay. So I'm going to close this. Go to the next topic. Just 2D template layout view. There are a lot of users who are using 2D images to create the template. We have a method to very quickly create 2D templates. So I'm going to close this and show. Nowadays, we see some companies using more than 40–50% of their templates, and some companies even more, just 2D layouts. So I'm going to open the just to show you how quickly we can create a 2D template when you don't have CAD, you just have a picture and you have data for it and you want to create a template. So I'm going to open, let me go to the, let me pick that data. Let me see what data. Seem 30. Sorry. So I'm going to pick like a start model. Car headlamp. Okay, let me take the start model. So just a plain template right now. I'm going to go to that folder and I'm going to open that image. Let me open this car headlamp image. Just give it a second. Okay, there it is. So there are 6 measurements that are made. I'm going to use my clipboard to just clip up. It could be if I already had it as an image, I could import it. So I'm going to just use my clipboard so I can have my. So I just clipboard those points. Go to my QDM. Paste this. Paste as an image from clipboard. So now I have a 2D image. And I'm going to load in some data for those 6 measurements, data from the from that same location. Let's say the data set 1. So now I have data for measurement number 7, measurement number 6, measurement number 5, 4. Because it's a 2D image, the system doesn't know how to automatically point the leader lines to these to the locations. So for this, we created a 2D template layout wizard, where it kind of lets you. I'm going to go to next. Pick a chart and place. So I'm going to find that's item number 3. So I'm going to put my chart here. It gives me a rubber band. I'm going to end the rubber band on number 3, balloon number 3. I'm going to take this 6, put the chart here, end the rubber band on number 6. Take chart number 4. I'm going to put it close to balloon number 4. Take the rubber band and place it at the 4. 2, move that 2 and place that chart to 2. 1, I'm going to move the chart up here and place that here. 5, and rubber band that to here. So now I've done 7, going to place it here and move the rubber band here. Then do Control L, Control Shift L. That would Control L. That will do an auto leader line to close to those points. So very quickly, I took a 2D image and loaded the data without the nominal position, and using this template layout wizard, kind of walk through all these charts and place their leader lines where it belongs to. So now this template, so this is something that can be very easily used when you're using 2D image-based templates, and you can save the template and publish them for the web or for your customers. So that's the 2D layout wizard. I'm going to go to the next topic. For that, let me close this. Tolerance negotiation. This has been in the older version, but unless somebody, if we are not using the beta version, this is a very powerful tool to apply tolerance negotiation. This is it's an analysis-based function within QDM. Allows you to tell what should be with the current upper and lower spec limit and the data, what is my capability, and did they pass a certain target? And if it didn't pass a certain target, what should be the new upper and lower spec to get to that target? Let's say I want to get to a target of CP of 1.33. Based on my process and based on the data that I have, how much should we open up the tolerance to get to CP of 1.33? So this is what the tolerance negotiation function does, and we've made some enhancements to that topic. So I'm going to quickly kind of go through that. Let me open maybe like a base template, all sites. Okay. So that's a template with data. I got 30 samples on here. I'm going to go to tools and click on tolerance negotiation. So it runs through an analysis of all my points and tells me that these columns that are in the gray are basically based on the data that's coming in. What's my X bar? What's my sigma? LSL is LSL, nominal, and USL, CP, and CPK. But the analysis part is telling whether my target is here. I can set my target to 1.33 or 1.18 or 1. Whatever my target CP and CPK target that I want to achieve. And it's telling me whether each of these, based on the data, column number, the CPK pass and CP pass and CPK pass is telling me whether it's based on the data, is it pass or fail. Let's pick one example. I'm just going to pick this T value right here. So here it is telling me that the CPK failed and the CP failed and CPK failed because the CP is only at 0.93 and my CPK is only at 0.53. Now it also does some reverse engineering based analysis to find out what should be the new CP and CP, what should be the new USL and LSL to get to a CP of 1.33. So in this particular case, from upper and lower spec of plus or minus 0.5, it's telling me that if you open up the tolerance to plus or minus 0.7, you would achieve a tolerance of, or you would achieve a CP of 1.33. With this and with this new version, we have also done apply. So right now there is no mean shift applied, so that's why my CPK is still 0.93. We haven't made any changes to the CPK value. I'm going to apply spec limits and mean shift so that we can see if I could also bring in the CPK to the target level. And I'm going to click on apply spec limit and click on recalculate. Now for that exact same feature, the upper and lower spec need to be at 0.71 to get to the CP of 1.33. But the mean, if we apply a mean shift of 0.22, that would also bring in the CPK to 1.33. So it just gives the engineer a perception of what, maybe everything is not possible, but at least gives them the ability to look at it and saying how much should they open up or shrink down the tolerance to get to a certain target value. And once that particular, and this is done with an interactive session. So if I wanted to know more about this, I want to know where this feature is, I can double click on it. It'll take me to that page in my report and show me where that point is. It's at the front door to fender interface. And this gives the engineer a little bit more insight on whether they can open up the tolerance there or not. Maybe it's not possible given the location, or maybe it is possible because it's at the corner and it doesn't affect it, it's not an interface point. So things like that gives you an interactive session that the template creator and the consumer, whether it's an OEM or a supplier, can use this tolerance negotiation sessions. And you can also try changing because probably 0.7 is not acceptable. You can only go up to 0.6, and I'm going to change it to 0.6 here. Just for talking purpose, and it recalculates and tells me if you do 0.6, you're only going to get to 1.12. You're not going to get to 1.33. And this is something that you have to negotiate with the OEM or with your supplier and say if that's acceptable. If that's acceptable, you can apply that proposed specification to the report by just one button click, or I can export this to what we call a tolerance negotiation table. I'm going to go back to that section. And what the tolerance negotiation table gives you is a summary of the whole report, and I'll come back to that. And you can also do the same what I did with CP and CPK to a PP and PPK, and you can apply any type of target, and you can redo your tolerance negotiation session with that. So let me quickly jump back here to open the report that came out of the tolerance negotiation session. So I'm going to open that file. So this is a standard format that's currently used by automotive OEMs and suppliers to negotiate on their tolerances. So this is a standard report called Proposed Manufacturing Tolerance Report with your part number and all that. So these gray boxes basically tells you by data what it is showing. Then you get the proposed specification, whatever is proposed based on our changes that we made in QDM. And typically what they do is once it's agreed, the engineer will copy these and paste them on these boxes, which is the approved specification, and primarily goes to the bottom of the page, which is a form where the dimensional engineer, the product engineer, and quality engineer, everybody signs off, and that gets into the next revision of your part or goes into the design change or an acceptable disposition that everybody agreed to. So this is a standard process that people spend hours and hours doing this, and we just automated and made that process faster. So just in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of quickly move through the rest of the topics. So that's about tolerance negotiation. Advanced hide options. When you have any report, now you can hide. You were able to hide the report based on the failed statistics by red, yellow, green, and white. But now you might want to eliminate charts where there is no variation or very less standard deviation, because that's not a measurement direction. That's an alternative direction. It's not the direction of measurement. Typically, you don't see any variation on those. You could hide those charts based on 6 sigma or by range. Sometimes if the range is very, very small, then hide those charts. So it kind of go through the entire report and hide all the charts where the range is less than 0.1. Similarly, a vector value. If it's not a prominent measurement direction, if the measurement is happening in the X, the Y, and Z, or the vector value is 0, you might want to hide those all for every point. By checking this one box, you can hide the vector value, which is less than 0.5. So sometimes there are non-design features, which are where you did not assign, where the engineering team does not assign a USL and LSL. They come in because the CMM gives you the data. You don't want to clutter your report with those points which doesn't have, or where the USL and LSL is 0 or USL and LSL is the same. Then you could actually exactly the same, not plus or minus. If they are 1 and 1 or 0 and 0. In those cases, I can do a batch hide by using these options to eliminate all my charts in my entire report that doesn't belong, creating a report only for the features that are varying, or the features that are on the prominent directions, or the design features, if you will. So I'm not going to go into this topic, but it's kind of easy to follow. It's under the hide options. The next topic is measurement chart manager. We've made some improvements to these measurement charts. Now with QDM, you can create a lot of measurement charts. I'm going to close all this. Go to the next top. Go to the topic 50 here. I'm going to open the template. So QDM, as you know, there is a big list of measurements that you can create between features, whether it's point-to-point, 2D, distances, or anything. So I'm going to go to that page, the last page, which is like the measurement chart page. So we have created 2 measurements, one in the X direction and one in the Y direction for these 2 points here. So to manage this, we go to manage measurements. Now we have a new interface, which is a little bit more extensive. Initially, we were only showing the list, and then you have to double click on it to go and look at all the details of it, of that particular measurement. Now we have an interface which tells you what are the 2 features that this distance is between, in what direction is the measurement, what is the class for that measurement, what's the nominal value, the USL, LSL, and what type of measurement it is. So kind of gives you, I mean, right now in this example, I only have 2, but we've seen customers who have hundreds of measurements within a template, or the whole template is just based on measurements. It gives you a nice way to manage your measurements in one interface. And when you want to edit something, you can go here. Just as a side note, we have measurements between point-to-point 2D, point-to-point, point-to-point, that's a 3D measurements, point to a line, point to a plane, angle between line and nominal, angle between a line and a line, angle between line and a plane, plane nominal, composite measurements, where I can take a bunch of measurements and get an average out of, get one measurement out of it, or an average, or a midpoint between 2 points. There's multiple ways that you can do measurements, and there are customers who make templates purely based on measurements from the inspection data. And this interface provides them a nice way to manage those measurements within the thing. Either they want to delete them, hide them, or switch their positions. All those are based on requirements we have created this user interface. Going back to my PowerPoint again. I think at least from the main topics, this is the main topic. So those are the 15 main topics. I'd like to just take 5 minutes just to go through some of these quick enhancements that we had in the system, but it is some of you may not be using them. One is called the chart alignment. So when you have a template, let me go back and create, close this and open a new template, like base layout, for example. There is a quick key called Control Shift and L. It opens up a layout view. It allows me to, if I want to reposition if I want to spread these templates out, I can click and move this to the right. I can do a window around all these other templates, and I just want to align them to the top. I could click on align them to the top. So it moved all my templates to the right. So it kind of gives you, then I can go to the next page. So once you're in a layout mode or cleaning up mode, you could use this to align features to the right, align charts to the left, align charts to the top, align charts to the bottom, or distribute the charts from right to left equally, or distribute the charts from top to bottom equally, or you can copy sizes. So some of these features are available, but now we have an interface that you can always have this. If this page looks good, go to the next page and do if you need to do some copying or pasting or the redistribution, all those type of stuff. So it kind of gives you an easy way to distribute and use your align or lay out your charts so that it looks more professional on your template. Again, it's optional, but it gives you a user-friendly tool to kind of walk through all the pages and lay them out. That's the chart shift. I'm going to go to this icon view. It's been there in our previous versions, but it's not widely used. So I'm going to show you that. Now we have a wizard to create icon views. So let's say all my points are in this part of the front of the door. I could use save icon and create a zoom window, which would just create a zoom window around those points. It would zoom my part to that location so that I can see the details of where the measurements are. At the same time, it creates what we call an icon view with the entire part with the red box around where the measurement is. So this is kind of like a map view or a bird's eye view of that part with a detailed box of showing. So if anybody looking at this sheet, they know exactly where the measurements are because they're looking at the zoomed view. At the same time, they also know in perspective where is it in a part. This is a small part, but as your parts are getting complex, this is a very user-friendly option, and there is like a wizard that will allow you to do this in 2 steps for every page. Going to the next topic, chart builder. We've added 2 charts called composite chart and composite chart V2. Both of them are same type of chart. Any chart typically contains a header section, a data section, a statistics section, and a chart section. So this chart builder allows you to pick what do you want in your header section, or do you even want to keep the header section in this chart type? Similarly, the data section, what do you want to show in the data section? I want to show the last 5 data points or the values of the last 5 or the last 10 values. So that's the data section. I can choose to have that or not have that. In the statistics section, what statistics I want to show or not show a statistics section. I can eliminate the whole statistics section. And in the chart, which is the trend chart location, whether I want to show the USL, LSL, or show limits and auto text, or what should be the axis, and the chart size. And so I can choose to build a chart with just the header section, and I can uncheck all these 3 boxes, or I can choose the chart, create a chart which is just the statistics section or a combination of header and statistics, and I can uncheck the data and the chart section. So I can make all kinds of combinations just by point and click. I can create my own flavors of chart type. charts, which are like header and statistics and the chart. This one is just the data and the chart. This one is just the chart only. This one is the header only. So I can create two variations of my chart within the system and use them in place of any chart within the QDM section. Last but the least, the 2D image support with any QDM. Now I have an option to any place we can any image that you have. I'm just gonna clip something from here. Take a copy of it and paste it. So paste image from clipboard allows me to paste an image. Just for an example, I'm just pasting this, but this could be your datum or a cut section or any type of logo or any company information or any type of image that you have in your clipboard, or even your certification information or a table. Anything that you have from anywhere, you can paste them and reposition them on a page. Gives you the ability to kind of add more content to a page to make that page more descriptive. So you can, if this chart was a chart type called a measurement name chart, I'm just going to quickly show you. If this chart was a chart type called a measurement name chart, then if I go to the options chart settings for measurement name, I can actually display an image inside the chart. So I'm going to, if I switch off all of these, now I get an option like an empty box. Now I can place any type of image in here. I can also add an image from the library. Let's say that's a profile point, or I can add, let's say that's a position GD&T callout. I can create an image that would be a position GD&T callout for that, so we know that's a position callout. So within the measurement name chart, I can add images inside the chart, but with using the paste image from clipboard, I can add the image anywhere within the chart or anywhere within the page. So these are options that you have to add more content to your image, to your report. It could be a cut section, it could be like a datum image, or it could be GD&T callouts that you can place so that make the report more descriptive.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of going a little bit faster, but
we're 8 minutes past the hour. Yeah, so I know you had to go a little faster through those, but we got to let everyone know. So at this time, I'm going to take the presentation back, and thank you so much, Tagu. That was a lot of content to get through today. So I'm actually very excited about that and about the new updates for 8.1.
Just one last note that the new version requires a license update also. So please work with our team and your team when you download the software to get a license update, and we'll make sure you get that right away. The software can also be downloaded from the file share, but we're gonna publish all this. Ben's gonna give you some instruction on these two topics. I just wanted to bring that up.
Absolutely. So as a reminder, you do need a new license, and if you would like to try out the new version, we are offering free trials of the new version of QDM Analyst. And if you saw, Tagu was referencing a number of folders. They're all numbered. We have examples for every single one of these features you can use to test out or try out those particular features. They're nice little mini tutorials for you to use. In the next week, all of that will also be available on our community. We've been answering most of the questions in chat along the way, and since we're so far past the hour, I'm afraid I'm going to have to take the remaining 1 or 2 questions via email after the event, as I know all of us have other responsibilities we have to get to. So thank you again, Tagu. I appreciate you joining us today and presenting. And Oliver, thank you so much for your work and answering questions. Look tomorrow for the email with a link to the streaming video of today's recorded session, as well as a download link for that video in MP4. I also have the presentation Tagu showed and this information packet for getting the new version. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us either through the website and our live chat. You can also respond to the email I send tomorrow, and I will connect you with the right people. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a chance to try out the new version of QDM. Oliver is going to be standing by to help you with any issues or questions you have about using the software. Make sure to join us also on Thursday for our next webinar, and we'll see you then.